Coming up on News 11, the man behind the Buffalo Top shooting has officially been sentenced to life without parole. We have an update on the train crash that happened near the Ohio-Pennsylvania border. And death tolls continue to rise after one of the biggest earthquakes hit Turkey and Syria in over a century. These stories and more, News 11 starts right now. Elkins.
And I'm Chloe Kowalik.
Well, Chloe, after a blizzard stopped us from having our last episode last semester.
Oh, right. That's right. That just feels like it was so long ago.
We're finally back into it after all this time. So you excited to get right into it?
I'm ready.
Alrighty. Well, 3 SUNY Fredonia alumni took home a total of 4 Grammys on Sunday, February 5th. Randy Merrill, who graduated with the class of 1997, won a Grammy as the Master Engineer for the Album of the Year, Harry's House by Harry Styles. He also won a Grammy for Best Classical Engineered Album for Harry's House in the classical field. Charlie Post, who graduated with the class of 98, won a Grammy along with Sean Murphy and Gary Richstrom as engineers, with Michael Romanowski as Master Engineer of Bates Philharmonic Fantastique, The Making of the Orchestra by Edwin Outwater and the Chicago Symphony Orchestra for Best Engineered Album in the classical category. John Kurswell, who graduated with the class of 1988, won his Grammy for Best Opera Recording for Terence Blanchard's Fire Shut Up My Bones. He was the sound engineer on the recording. All 3 of the winners graduated with sound recording technology degrees.
Are you looking for something fun to do this weekend? SUNY Fredonia's student-run radio station, Fredonia Radio Systems, is holding their annual Rock and Skate event. Rock and Skate features ice skating with fun music and cool lights provided by Sound Services. Don't know how to skate? That's totally cool. Stop by for different foods such as pizza, cotton candy, cookies, and more. The event is Valentine's Day themed, so roses and candy will be available. Rock and Skate is on Sunday, February 19th from 8 to 10 p.m. in the Steel Hall Ice Arena. Admission is $5, and if you need skates, the college has them available for rent for $4.
The annual Mayville Winter Festival is set to take place from February 17th to 19th. The Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Daniel Heitzenrader was unsure if the festival would go on due to the mild weather this winter. But he did say, quote, "While our mild winter has been nice to avoid frigid temperatures and snow-covered roads, seasons like this year create a real challenge for businesses who rely on winter weather for sports or traffic, including the Chamber's own Mayville Winter Festival. It's clear at the moment that weather is not fully cooperating for an ice castle. Nevertheless, the annual Mayville Winter Festival will go on as planned over President's Day weekend with many exciting offers," end quote. Check out the Mayville Winter Festival Facebook for more details or the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce website.
A new hospital may be on the horizon for Dunkirk, New York. Brooks Memorial Hospital, the closest hospital medical center for many students at SUNY Fredonia, has been in the roughs for quite some time. Last year, Brooks lost more than $20 million. Now, many are hoping to save the hospital by opening a new one, and then potentially knocking down the current location. It would cost $71 million for a new hospital. Additionally, the new location would likely open in Fredonia near Tuscany Fresh Meats and Deli.
Peyton Gendron, the man behind the Top shooting in Buffalo, has been officially sentenced to a life sentence without parole. The sentencing took place today in downtown Buffalo earlier. During his trial, Gendron pleaded guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder and other charges. During the hearing, a man rushed Gendron during victim statements. According to the district attorney, that man will not face charges. During his sentencing, Judge Susan Egan said, quote, "There is no place for you or your ignorant, hateful, and evil ideologies in a civilized society. There can be no mercy for you, no understanding, no second chances. The damage that you have caused is too great, and the people you have hurt are too valuable to the community," end quote.
Buffalo police are investigating a shooting at Club Marcella in Buffalo that led to a death of a 21-year-old and 2 more individuals being injured. The shooting took place during an event at the club, which was holding an honor in Valentine's Day. This is the second shooting seen at Club Marcella in less than a month, with the other taking place on January 29th. No arrests have currently been made, and Club Marcella has put out a statement saying they are cooperating with police and will officially change their hours to close at 2 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. until further notice. The New York State Liquor Authority has also announced that they are performing their own investigation into the location as well.
The varsity wrestling team for Starpoint High School, located in Lockport, New York, has canceled the remainder of the 2022-2023 season as they are the subject of an ongoing investigation. The school district said on Wednesday evening in a news release that it had received multiple serious allegations of inappropriate conduct by one or more members from the team. On Thursday, the Niagara County Sheriff's Office released their plans to investigate those claims. Despite outlash from parents who believed by disciplining the entire team, they were stigmatizing the team members who were not involved, a judge has denied a petition to allow the wrestling season to continue. Starpoint Superintendent Dr. Sean Croft has said that due to the involvement of law enforcement and other legal implications, the school board is unable to disclose information, additional details about the underlying circumstances, and asks the public to respect the family's privacy at this time. The state qualifier was supposed to be held at Starpoint last Saturday, but had since moved to North Tonawanda High School per an executive decision from Section 6.
The New York State Department of Health recently announced new guidelines for the mask mandate in healthcare facilities. These new guidelines will align with the latest federal recommendations from the CDC, dropping the mask requirements. The new guidelines will go into effect on Sunday and will apply to hospitals, nursing homes, and healthcare facilities throughout the state. March 1st will officially mark 3 years since the first case of the coronavirus had been reported in New York State. And when we come back, we'll have your national headlines, including an update on the train crash at the Pennsylvania and Ohio border. We'll be right back.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
The suspect in a mass shooting at Michigan State University is now confirmed dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He's been identified as a 43-year-old man, and officials say he is not affiliated with the university. They did not provide any other information about him. The shooting left 3 people dead and 5 injured. The shooting victims reportedly remain in critical condition at a nearby hospital. Authorities first reported shots fired on the campus in East Lansing Monday evening at 8:18 p.m. Authorities have not yet identified a motive, and the identities of the victims and the suspected shooter are not being released at this time. All classes and activities on the MCU campus have been canceled for the next 48 hours.
Hundreds of people in an Ohio town were forced to evacuate their homes after a freight train carrying hazardous material derailed and caused an explosion on February 3rd. Now, multiple health and environmental concerns are arising in East Palestine, Ohio, almost 2 weeks later. On Monday, February 6th, crews conducted what officials called a, quote, controlled release of the hazardous chemicals, which caused a large plume of black smoke. Last week, Wednesday, the evacuation order was lifted. However, residents have since noticed health concerns, including a burning sensation in eyes, animals falling ill, and a constant odor throughout the town. Local officials have insisted that the air is safe to breathe and the water is safe to drink in East Palestine. The Environmental Protection Agency, which has been monitoring the air quality, said it has not detected, quote, any levels of concern in East Palestine as of Sunday.
Police in Raleigh, North Carolina released body and dashboard camera video Friday on the arrest of a black man who died after officers repeatedly used stun guns on him. We want to warn you that the video you are about to see is graphic and some may find it disturbing. Darrell Williams was sitting in a car on January 17th when officers approached him. Police say the officers were patrolling area businesses where crime has been a problem. During the police stop, a scuffle broke out and officers tased Williams several times. Williams later died at the hospital. 6 police officers involved in the incident are currently on administrative leave. And the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation is currently conducting an independent criminal investigation.
The men's basketball program at New Mexico State University will be suspended for the rest of the season amid a hazing scandal. A report from school police alleges 3 players hazed a teammate over several months. In a statement, the school's chancellor says he has fired head coach Greg Hare. The university director of athletics said Wednesday they're waiting for the investigation to be over before deciding the program's next steps. The hazing report accuses the 3 players of removing their teammates' clothes and performing acts that could be perceived as sexual assault.
Former South Carolina Republican Governor Nikki Haley is making it official and has announced she's running for president in 2024. Back in late January, it was reported that Haley would announce a campaign in February, but no set date was ever announced. Haley served in the Trump administration as ambassador to the United Nations. Haley is the 3rd Republican to announce a campaign for 2024, including former Montana Secretary of State Corey Stapleton and former President Donald Trump. She is expected to speak at a campaign launch event tonight in Charleston, South Carolina.
And while the Republican primary is slowly taking shape, one rumored candidate has yet to announce a bid. However, Senator Ted Cruz did say he will run for re-election for Senate. The Texas Republican told reporters Tuesday he will seek a 3rd term in the Senate in 2024. It's still unclear whether Cruz is planning a presidential bid. That's because Texas law does allow a candidate to run for Senate and president at the same time. However, when asked if he were running for re-election or would mount another bid at the White House, Cruz answered, quote, "I'm running for re-election to the Senate," end quote. Cruz ran for president in 2016, but fell short to former President Donald Trump during a bitter primary contest. And now when we come back, Sarah joins us for a Super Bowl sports update, and Jules joins us for our first weather update of the semester. We'll be right back.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the Sisterhood of Women in Tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
And banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an
to
effort.
get to know each other,
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
Mentor.
Actor.
it's time we take a step forward
it's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Make a plan today.
We're now joined by Sarah Gorton, who has a lot to cover between local Buffalo and the Super Bowl. So let's let her take it away.
Thank you, Chloe. In local sports this week, the Fredonia Blue Devils hockey team clinched the final playoff spot in the SUNYAC tournament after pulling off a 3-2 upset against the Geneseo Knights. Saturday's senior night game had Ryan Bailey scoring his 11th goal of the season to put the Devils on the board first. He was later joined by Brendan Dempsey and Jake Blackwell, while Fredonia goalie Logan Dick finished the game with 34 saves. The team will play 2 7 p.m. away matches this upcoming weekend against Cortland on Friday and Oswego on Saturday. Fredonia men's track and field members had an exciting trip to Boston on Saturday, breaking into Fredonia's top 10 record holders 5 times. Nick Abdo set a new school record in the 400-meter dash and joined his teammates Nick Marsowitz, Toby Anua, and Josh Walters in putting up the second fastest time in Blue Devil history in the 4x400-meter relay. Each athlete also made multiple personal records in their respective categories at the meet. The Buffalo Sabres have been on a streak, just not the kind you'd want any team to be. After Monday night's match against the Los Angeles Kings, the Sabres have lost 4 straight games, 3 of the 4 by a large margin. While the Sabres still have a long way to go if they're going to make the playoffs this year, they will make attempts to break their losing streak tonight when they play the Anaheim Ducks at 10 p.m. In national sports, Super Bowl 57 took place last Sunday and pit the AFC's Kansas City Chiefs against the NFC's Philadelphia Eagles. This game made history before it even started, as opposing quarterbacks Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts became the first two black quarterbacks to start for their teams in the Super Bowl. After kickoff, Philly took an early lead with a score of 24-14 at the end of the first half, but the second half took a turn for the Birds as the Chiefs pulled off a comeback to win 38-35. It was an exciting match all around and came down to a field goal towards the final seconds of the game. This marks the Chiefs' second win in the last 5 years and Mahomes' second MVP win in that same time. While Kansas City celebrates, everyone else looks forward to the 2023 NFL Draft and to the kickoff of next season in August.
Okay, Sarah, I have to ask you, as a Bills fan, how did you feel about the results of the Super Bowl?
I mean, obviously, we never want to see AFC rival Kansas City win another Super Bowl, but I guess I wasn't into this game in the first place, so it happened.
Fair.
But
that's fair. I was upset, but it's okay.
I was upset too.
It's okay, but we're over it now. We're over it now, and
now it's next season time.
Next season, and also time to toss it to Jules for our first weather forecast of the semester. Jules, what do you have for us?
So starting off with tonight's forecast, will slowly decrease in temperature after the extreme warm-up we saw during the day today. We'll see a high of 46 degrees tonight, but those should continue to drop into the high 30s by tomorrow morning. And while we may be in the mid-40s, we are also going to be experiencing a high wind advisory here in Fredonia and Dunkirk, and those strong wind gusts are going to be blowing cooler and making it feel much closer to around 36 degrees. Looking at tomorrow, we'll have similar temps to what we saw tonight. However, the wind shouldn't be anywhere as strong. We should see a decent amount of sunshine tomorrow. But while the display does say 0% chance, there is a small chance of shower in the afternoon. If that rain does hold off, though, your Thursday should be a very comfortable day to be outside. I'll have a look at your weekend weather in just a little bit. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Jules. And when we come back, we'll have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. We only have 2 international stories this week. However, the ones that we do have are taking up a lot of the national headlines in the world. So let's get right into them. The death toll from the earthquakes that hit Turkey and Syria passed 35,000 on Monday, as only a handful of survivors were pulled from the rubble more than a week after the disasters that devastated both of the countries. Turkey's disaster agency said Monday that more than 31,500 had been recorded killed in the country. The Syrian Health Ministry reported almost 1,400 deaths, and the White Helmets, a volunteer rescue group in rebel-held regions of the country, reported more than 2,100 more deaths. The death toll was expected to climb. Local rescue workers in Turkey have been joined by dozens of international teams. The 7.8 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes and the many aftershocks hit southeastern Turkey and northern Syria on February 6th. Officials have said that this is the worst natural disaster to hit the region in a century.
Intelligence officials are looking into the possibility that the Chinese spy balloon may have drifted over the U.S. Bay by accident. That's according to multiple people briefed on intelligence. Officials had been monitoring the balloon since it left off from Hainan in China last month. They expected it to head towards Guam, but it unexpectedly went north instead and crossed into Alaska, Canada, and the U.S. Beijing has insisted that the balloon was a civilian craft that was diverted off course by strong winds. Intelligence officials still believe the balloon was meant for spying, and China used its limited maneuvering abilities to loiter over sensitive areas in Montana to try to collect intelligence. Fighter jets eventually shot the balloon down off the coast of South Carolina on February 4th. And after a short break, we'll be back with your trending stories and one more look at the weekend weather. We'll be right back.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
A representative for Rihanna confirms she's pregnant with her second child. Speculation about the pregnancy started during her Super Bowl performance on Sunday. Rihanna wore an all-red ensemble that appeared to highlight her baby bump. Rihanna also spoke about motherhood during an interview related to her Super Bowl performance. The musician welcomed her first child with rapper A$AP Rocky last May. Many online praised Rihanna's Super Bowl performance as she was one of the first in many years to not have a guest star appearance and performed the 13-minute show all alone, highlighting some of her well-known songs including Diamonds, All of the Lights, and We Found Love.
Disney CEO Bob Iger has announced that the company is going to produce more sequels for some of their largest grossing properties. In an earnings quarterly call, Iger announced Zootopia, Toy Story, and Frozen are all going to be adding sequels. The announcement comes as Iger said the company would cut about 7,000 jobs as part of a significant transformation. Iger, who returned as a CEO in November following a challenging 2-year tenure by his handpicked successor Bob Chapek, is under pressure to revive the company's financial fortunes and its stock price, which has tumbled 24% in the last year.
And if you're someone who always wants a specific section when you watch your movies in the theater, you may either save or be forced to spend more money. AMC, the largest movie theater chain in the US, on Friday will start selling tickets at different prices based on where a seat is located in a given venue. The new approach, called Sightline at AMC, prices seats based on how good their views of the screen are. The company will offer 3 tiers of seating: value, standard, and preferred. Less desirable seats, such as those located in the theater's front row, will be sold at a discount at the lowest price point. Value seats are available only to members of AMC Stubs, the chain's reward club, which is available for free. Standard seats are the most common and will be available at the usual cost of a ticket. Preferred Sightline seats will cost more, according to AMC. The company did not disclose how much the different tiers of seating will cost. The pricing already applies at select theaters and will be rolled out more broadly by the end of the year. I feel like that's a lot of different stories, and all of them have like some type of significance to them.
Yes, well, they're all kind of entertainment based, which is the point.
Yeah.
But I just need to know, Topher, are you going to see Ant-Man this weekend? Are you going to the movies?
Definitely going to see it. I think I'm going to see it on Sunday. It's basically
Okay.
going to be my fill-in for not having football anymore, which I think kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm going on Friday, and I am not going to AMC because I don't like this. This is very mean.
No, I'm also.
I'm a Regal girly.
I am a Regal. Yeah, I'm a Regal
Are
fanboy.
you a Regal girly?
No, I'm okay. Maybe I'm a little bit of a Regal girly, but whatever. Okay.
Live
but
on
also
air.
out of those 3 though, Toy Story, Frozen, and Zootopia, which one are you most excited about having a sequel?
Zootopia.
Zootopia? Okay.
Yeah.
I think. See. Okay. This is.
I love Zootopia.
Yeah,
It's
see,
so
as a
good.
little bit of a music kid, the Frozen having more songs, never a bad thing.
That makes sense. Great.
All right, now we're going to toss it to Jules, but now I need to know your opinion. Which of those 3 are you the most excited about?
I'd have to go with probably Zootopia too, because I think that's also the most recent Disney movie that I've watched with like in my head right now. But also Frozen, that's gonna be really exciting because I'm a big Kristen Bell fan, so that's gonna be really good. But now let's talk about our weekend forecast. So we're gonna start with the bad news first. On Friday, we do have a chance of snow, which is very accurate. We were talking about frozen. Scattered throughout the day, as we'll see temperatures drop a little bit into the mid to low 30s all day. The high for Friday is 35 degrees and with a decent wind. It could feel below freezing at some points. Looking at Saturday, this is the start of what could be a nice little weekend from a weather standpoint as the temperatures jump back to 45 degrees, and there doesn't look to be any rain or snow in the forecast. And actually, we should see a lot of sunshine. And lastly, jumping to Sunday, you can pretty much copy and paste the weather from Saturday with a slightly higher temperature, as we could see a possibility at 50 degrees. Back to you guys.
All right, Chloe, are you more of like a winter fan, or are you just happier we're getting away from the
No,
cold?
I need to be warm again.
Yeah,
it's,
no, just-
it's been too long.
See, I am kind of the standpoint of like December, January, you can be cold weather. Like,
Yeah.
you know, those are
Then
the
it's acceptable.
those are the winter months, specifically December. Like, I think
Yes.
at that point, Christmas, all that, sure. Once it's like February, you kind of just over it.
I'm over it.
I think especially here in Western New York. So I
Yeah.
think like we just get enough of it.
We had enough blizzards.
We had 2. I'm good for the
That's
rest of it. I
enough.
don't need any more. All right, well, that does do it for our first episode of News 11 this semester. We have a lot of new things we're doing this year, so be sure to make sure you follow us on Instagram. And thank you to our behind the scenes crew.
And of course, thank you to everyone watching at home. We'll be back next week, and have a great night.